Dominic Toretto just went rogue.
What? The Fate of the Furious is movie number 8 in the Fast and Furious franchise. It's the first one, being directed by F. Gary Gray, and it reunites everybody from your typical Fast and Furious crew. Most important by this point, Dwayne Johnson is back as Hobbs, and he has a lot more to do than in the previous movie. Also back, Jason Statham, who's doing the opposite of Toretto's character. He's turning good in this one, after he killed the beloved character Han before. And no one has that big of a problem with it. So what about family now? Making a former villain change sides is something that can work. Dragon Ball, for example, did it almost all the time. And here, well, I think Statham is even better than The Rock in the movie, and their banter is pure joy. They play as they are in a buddy cop movie, and it's hilarious. Only 2 problems. 1, the whole family idea was the one lonely moral compass the franchise got, and 2, the rest of the cast plays as they are in a different movie. The main plotline with Toretto turning his back on family is really bland and stupid. The reason for him doing that is okay, but how his friends and he himself approach the situation doesn't make that much sense, and also seeing the lead guy in a shameful pawn situation isn't the most engaging setting, and letting them all face off one another doesn't make for much tension here. Sure, it's all an action soap opera by now, but for the first time the camaraderie felt really off, and even more forced than before. Fate of the Furious felt like an empty shell of itself for most of the time. Tage, Roman and Ramsey have even less personality than before, and the whole thing felt very disjointed. To be honest, I was looking forward to the movie, and I had a good time with almost all the entries before. And many people will just say, come on, what did you expect? It's all about the fun and the action. But there's one big problem here. Before seeing the movie, I was already preparing myself for trying to do a review where I don't have to say it's so much fun all the time. And now after seeing it, I wish that problem would be real, because honestly, this wasn't very much fun. The Rock and Statham, their action scene in the prison, some of the great moments on the ice, that was fun. But overall, the approach of F. Gary Gray, whose Straight Outta Compton I really liked, felt not as light-hearted and energetic as the previous movies, and the tonality is all over the place. I did like that one moment though, where Toretto is behaving like the Winter Soldier. But by far my biggest complaint about the movie is the overall look and feeling. Apart from a few scenes, this looks like a very quickly put together TV production. The cinematography, the sets, the editing, nothing shouts cinema to you. Some of the characters spend the whole movie just in your generic command center location. Visually, there's nothing inventive to find anywhere. It looks kind of cheap, and the amount of close-ups is ridiculous. And the action? You've seen it all in the trailers, no big surprises there, and the CGI is even more in your face than before. Even today, a scene like this from a movie that's almost 40 years old is more impressive than this. For me, Fate of the Furious is definitely a step in the wrong direction, and that was a real bummer. There are still some fun elements to find, but overall it's a disjointed, lackluster CGI heavy mess with no emotional involvement in anything that's going on. And the missing or ill-led morality of the whole thing makes it even harder to sympathize with these guys at this point. I really enjoyed Fast and Furious 1, 5, 6 and 7. But this one ranks with the worst entries of the franchise. In German I'd say, irgendwie ist hier die Luft raus. That doesn't mean that I hated the movie, but I can't give it more than 5.5 out of 10. It's more like 5.6, but I don't do that.
You gonna turn your back on family?
Alright, that's it like always. Comment below, let me know what you think about the Fate of the Furious. And today's question: what are your top 3 favorite movies from this franchise? Mine are number 5, then number 1, and I think then it's number 7. So, what are yours? If you're able to give your complete ranking of all the movies, please be my guest. I've seen all those movies only once, so it's kind of hard. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And don't forget to hit the clock so we can rock.